I'm gonna go get the mail. I got a card. How cool is that? Hi Quilty friends, welcome back. I'm making cards today. I have always loved making cards, but what's special about these cards is they are quilted cards, and what's even better is they use up your scraps, both your scrap fabric and your scrap batting. What you will need, or what I'm using for my project, is I've pulled my scrap fabrics and I'm using some strips, but you can use whatever you want. And then I have some scrap batting. I've already pre-cut mine to just a little bit bigger than, I'm going to use index cards, which are 4x6, but you can use a piece of cardstock or a postcard. You just want to make sure your batting is about 1/4 of an inch bigger. And then you will need, if you want to do some applique, I'm using the Pellon 805 Wonder Under. If you want to check that out, I'll put a link to it down in the description. I've used different types of things to attach to the index card. I've used just plain old craft glue, and I've also used the fusible. Both seem to work. So what I start to do is I pick out some strips. I've already pressed some of mine, so you want to give them a little bit of a press. I'm not getting too fussed about the width, but I am using about 1.5 inches width. Okay, I have my piece of batting. Here it's just rough cut, as you can see. I'm going to take my first piece. I'm just going to lay it down. And then I'm going to take my second piece and lay it on top. We're going to be using the quilt as you go method. I do have my walking foot on my machine. Let me just get it set up here. And I'm just going to be using my normal stitch that I use for my regular quilting. And I'm going to be doing 1/4 of an inch seam. And then I'm just going to take this and just give it a good finger press. If you have a little roller, you can use your roller. And then I'm going to take my next piece and just going to lay it on top. These go really quickly, so you could get a whole bunch done fairly quickly. Or you could do a really big piece of batting and then just cut out each individual card. The walking foot's not necessary. It's just helpful when you have, the layer of batting. Now, you do want to make sure when you do get to your last piece that it's wide enough here so that when you trim it down, you don't end up with a skinny little piece of fabric on the end. I'm going to keep going and keep adding my strips as I go across until I'm done, and then I'll share with you what we do next. So I have all of them sewn down. Let's see. It's a little bit of an octopus right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim these strips down. Thread there. All right. So that's what it looks like. I'm going to go give this a quick press. I gave it a quick press. Now, you could stop here if you would want. Or I could keep quilting this. What I'm going to do is I have a cookie cutter that's shaped like a heart. So whatever you've got laying around that's shaped like a heart, you can just trace it. I've traced it onto some applique paper here. All right, so I'm going to cut this out. And if you've not ever applique, you just rough cut around it. So you have a little bit of space. And what I love this stuff. This is like making giant stickers with fabric. And you can then, I'm just going to find some, I have some scrap squares here. I'll do a pink one. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to press this onto this pink fabric. Now I've just attached it to the back of the fabric. And when I do the applique paper, I do use my paper scissors. I actually have a pair of scissors. You can see here they're labeled paper. In case someone comes in my room. Other than me, they know that those are for paper. And then, if you're not familiar, you just actually then cut on the line that you've drawn. And this is why you wouldn't want this applique paper to be really big, because that gets left behind on your fabric, and then it kind of makes the fabric a little bit unusable after that. And this is where you can have fun with whatever, any type of shapes. You could do flowers. Pull out your cookie cutters. They make great templates. And then once you get it started, it comes off really easily. It's just getting it started sometimes. Okay. So there it is. And that's kind of sticky, just like a sticker. And then you can put it wherever you want. I could put it off to the side. And you could make more than one. I've just been putting it in the middle. So I'm going to go iron this down. You can see I pressed my heart on there. Now, to keep it down, I'm going to do, I like to do a blanket stitch. You can just do a regular stitch all the way around, but I prefer to do a blanket stitch, which is the little line, and then it has, it looks like a little sawtooth that goes all the way around. So I blanket stitched all the way around. This is great. If you're just learning to quilt, you could use these as like little mini quilts to practice your different stitches. I'll show you how I attach it to my card. Some plain old craft glue. You don't need a ton because we're going to sew this on. We're going to attach it with your machine, and so I'm just going to lay it. Make sure it's centered. And then just give it a good press. And then line it up with the edge of the card, and then I'm just going to trim it down. Now, this next part, if you've got a brand new needle on your machine, you might want to just put an old needle on because of the paper, because that'll kind of dull your needle. So I'm going to blanket stitch all the way around, or you can do a zigzag stitch all the way around the edge to finish the edge of the card. So there's my card. Isn't that sweet? And then I can just put my message here on the back. And I have some spare envelopes, and I'm just going to tuck it in an envelope. And you're all done. I hope you like this video. If you do click the like button and subscribe. It does help my channel. But for now, I wish you all well, and most of all, be quilty.